Hey friends, I'm Linda and this is Kelly. Today we shall be known as Dr. Linda and Dr. Kelly. Welcome to our Grow Kids Deep Dive for January. We are so excited you're here. And if you're new to these deep dives, our goal for these are just to give you a head start into preparing for the series that's coming up, especially if you are a Grow user following our recommended scope and sequence. But even if you're not a Grow user, we are glad you're here and we hope you can steal some of these ideas and make them work for you.
Yes, we are going to give you both a big picture and an in-depth look at the sixth series in Grow Kids Volume 7 called What Can I Do? It is a 4-week series from the Gospels about Jesus' early life and ministry. And as you can tell, it is all about careers. Today, we are doctors, and I'm a vet, and this is whatever we should name her. Maybe we'll name her Growy. I don't know. But we will give you an overview of the Bible stories and the big ideas from the month. Then we will take a look at the theme for the series to give you some decorating ideas. And finally, we will go over some of the special features in this series so that you have everything that you need to get started.
In week 1 of What Can I Do? We're looking at Mark chapter 1 for the story of Jesus and John the Baptist. Not only did Jesus heed God's voice by choosing to be baptized, God's voice was heard after Jesus came out of the water. So this week's big idea is I can listen to God's voice.
In week 2, we look at John chapter 1, which is the story of Philip and Nathanael. Philip invites Nathanael to come and learn all about Jesus, only to find out Jesus already knew all about Nathanael. Remind kids that there are many uncertain things in our lives, and we might often feel like nobody gets us, but one thing is for sure, and that is I can trust Jesus knows me.
That brings us to week 3, and we're back in Mark chapter 1 for the calling of more disciples, namely our fisher friends, Andrew, Peter, James, and John. Upon meeting and hearing from Jesus, these 4 decided that following Jesus would be their utmost priority, even though their future was quite uncertain. That's why this week's big idea is I can trust God's plans for me.
And finally, in week 4, we are in Matthew 9 for another origin story, Matthew's. We learned that Matthew was formerly a tax collector, a profession that didn't really gain a ton of popularity points, but Jesus extended an invitation to Matthew anyways. This week's big idea follows the example of Jesus when we say, I can include people who aren't like me.
And this month's memory verse comes from Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, that follows our I can motif along with the big ideas. It says, I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Now it's time to talk about the theme. This month's decorating theme is professions because we're talking about Jesus starting out his ministry. So think of it as a month-long career day. Yay. And you'll see that Kelly and I both chose to be something in the health profession today. You would have noticed by now that all of our big ideas are answers to the question of the series, what can I do? They all say I can something. So we are talking to kids not only about what they might do in the future, but also some things that they can do right now based on what they're learning from the Bible. My 9-year-old is pretty hard set on what his career is going to be. He once had his teacher tell him like, hey, you need to like loosen up because he says repeatedly, I don't know how this connects to my career. But most kids aren't really thinking about careers at this point, which I think is way more okay. So we're just inviting kids to dream and consider all sorts of possibilities together as they learn about how Jesus helped shape the future for his followers and his friends. So Kelly, tell us a little bit more about how we can set up our environments to match with what can I do?
Yeah, decor for this series can be whatever you want it to be. The question is really, what can't you do?
Hey.
I personally love the idea of putting up inspiration for kids as to what they want to be when they grow up. You could personalize the decor to your kids or even the volunteers who serve in your ministry and ask them what they wanted to be when they grew up. And it'd be really fun to see who followed their dreams and maybe who shifted their dreams a little bit. Yeah. Giveaway ideas for what can I do are so fun as well, from an occupation sticker book to letting kids become their own working professional with these super fun dress-up costumes. And especially if you're like me and wish that you could have been a vet or really a baker, you could try your hand at making your own sweet treats for snack times, because whatever you choose, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is a super fun theme, and I know that it can feel a little academic, but as you go through each week, you'll see that we do touch on different fields. And in the final week, we're talking like non-traditional careers. And so I feel like it's a great opportunity for you to have really cool conversations with your kids, but also it's not just about what you're going to do in the future, but also what you're doing now and what Jesus is doing right now. So it's going to be a great time. For more ideas like these, go ahead and check out that environment guide that we've provided for you in your resources folder. Okay, friends, so we gave you an overview of the series. We went over the super fun theme for this month, and now we're going to talk about some of the exciting features that are unique to What Can I Do? If you've been using Grow for a while, then you know that our weekly format kind of stays the same from series to series, and each week we set it up with 3 major sections. That is the What section, the So What section, and the Now What section. So in the What section, we're basically answering the question, what are we talking about today? And we open up with some fun activities, some thought-provoking questions to help kids think about some felt needs that they might not have talked about or a problem that they might be dealing with. And then in the So What section, we're talking about like, why does it matter to us? Why does it matter to God? And we're answering those questions by looking at the Bible. We're looking at the big idea, and we're connecting it with more activities and object lessons that are targeted at helping kids remember the Bible story better. And then we're going to wrap things up with the Now What section, which is now what do I do about it? And it helps kids to reflect on what they learned, to develop an action plan about what they can do about it. And also we are providing some discussion questions here to help you have a meaningful conversation with your kids. And there's crafts, memory verse ideas, and a whole lot more. So those are the main ways that the things stay the same.
That basic structure, like Linda said, does stay the same every time, but within each series, we use a combination of building blocks, activities, videos, crafts, reflections, responses, so that each section helps you teach the material in a new and engaging way. Each series does something a little different with those building blocks, and that keeps things engaging and exciting for everybody. Linda, tell us, which features do you want to talk about for What Can I Do?
So in What Can I Do? I think what's super special is how we tell the Bible story. We're going to start off each Bible story session with inviting a professional to come and talk to your kids, or showing a video of a professional talking about what they do. And so each week is divided up into a specific field. So in week 1, we're talking about performing arts. In week 2, we're talking about health. In week 3, we have construction, and then week 4, we have non-traditional. So we have the jobs that might not come to the top of your list when you imagine careers, but they are amazing and sometimes very lucrative. So we want to talk to kids about all the different things that they can do and be when they grow up. The way that we're making these connections is like, for example, in week 1, we're saying like performing artists need to listen to others, like directors, vocal coaches, and even their fans. And that connects to the Bible story and the big idea, which is, I can listen to God's voice. And then for like health professionals, we're talking about how health professionals know us really well. Like they can literally see through us using x-rays and things like that. But more than that, Jesus knows us better. So the big idea there is I can trust Jesus knows me. So we are making connections like that. And so to help kids not only to kind of get a mini career day situation at church, but also to connect those professions with something they might want to be, or more importantly, how it connects to the Bible story.
Yeah. Linda, with week 4 and those non-traditional occupations, my son really wants to be a porta potty cleaner.
Hey.
Porta potties, which is very non-traditional, a very vital part of a community, right?
Absolutely.
And that goes with the big idea, like that Jesus includes everyone.
Yeah.
Even if, something that I wouldn't want to do.
Right. My 5-year-old wants to be bivocational. He wants to fight fire, and he also wants to wash windows. So I feel like he could do both with one hose.
Absolutely.
We're thinking out of the box here, so it's great.
Absolutely. Linda, tell us something else that you're excited about with this.
I'm also excited about the response modules. And so occasionally you'll see that we offer kind of like a recurring module. So it's kind of the same thing that you're doing from week to week, just with different prompts. And so the response is a great time for that because we're inviting kids to think creatively and connect what they learn from the Bible to what they can do about it now, especially for this series because they're thinking about present and future and things like that. So we have this thing called My Career Log, and we've provided a cool printable for you and everything. And so in this time, we're asking kids to imagine themselves being one of the professions that was introduced that week, even if that's not anything they want to do. We're just saying, hey, just consider it, think about it. What would you do if you had to choose? And why did you choose that? And then we ask them, like, how would you follow God if you were in that profession? And what is one way that you can do whatever the big idea is for the day this week, right now, in the moment. So I think it's a great way for kids to just really spark their imaginations and to not only think about like just this one track that they want to do. Like my son is like really committed to marine biology, so that's all he wants. My other son, my older one, not the window washing firefighter. But also helps kids kind of explore just how big God's plans can be and that they don't have to be locked in and they can really listen to God's voice and figure out how they can follow God right away. Kelly, tell us something else that our users just need to know as they prepare for this upcoming series.
So, with the start of a new year, we would be remiss to not mention the Grow Pastor's Planner, right? We're talking about what can we do as ministry leaders. We can be prepared for what is going to happen in the next year. So, we offer a planner for kids ministry leaders, student ministry leaders, and family ministry leaders. You can find those on the planning page of your Grow Kids dashboard. And if you are not a Grow user, you can reach out to our customer success team, and we would absolutely love to share those pastor planners with you absolutely free.
Yes, it's free. Do you know how much money we spend on planners, or those of us who are still using physical planners? This is a great tool because it lines up with the scope and sequence if you're using Grow, so that there's helpful little prompts in there. So make sure you get it. It's such a helpful tool. Well, Kelly, thank you for talking about what can I do with me and sharing with our friends here about all the fun ways that we can level it up. Be sure to comment and give us your feedback and tag us in your photos. Just let us know how you're doing, how we're doing, and what we can do to make your life as a ministry leader easier and better. We are just always in awe of everything you're doing out there. You guys are doing great work. We love you and we want to support you. So thank you for being here. And make sure you engage with us in our Facebook group. You can find us on Stuff You Can Use, a children's ministry community.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us. From Linda, myself, Banks the real dog, Growy the fake dog, we will see you next time. Bye,
everyone.